Imagine you're writing some code that will be used by an online store that does business in multiple countries. That means the website must be able to show prices with local currency symbols. On your keyboard, though, you generally only have access to your own country's currency symbol. That means accessing the other symbols can be kind of frustrating. So we want to write a function that will print out a certain local currency's symbol. For now, let's go with this symbol, which represents Japanese yen. To start with, let's just write a simple function called printYen that will print that character. No input, no output. How do we do that? Well, as you can probably guess, this is the code that will do that, so let's trace through it. Line 2 begins our function header. This is the place where we're actually defining the function definition. It starts with the keyword def, bold and in red because it's a reserved word in Python. It's followed by a space, and then it's followed by the name of the function that we're creating. Then every function will have an open and a closed parentheses, although sometimes we'll have something inside those as well. That's where our parameters are going to go in a later lesson. And then finally, as with all our control structures, it ends with a colon. The colon tells Python the next block of code will be indented and controlled by this function. Lines 3 and 4 are the body of the function. They define what actually happens when the programmer calls the function printYen. So since the goal of the function is just to print the symbol for yen, all this function does is print yen. Actually, though, this print statement has a little bit of something extra. It has this end equals apostrophe apostrophe at the end. By default, the print function prints whatever is in parentheses on its own line, and then starts the next print statement on the next line. By ending with n equals and then a blank string, it tells Python not to bother putting that end of line at the end of this line. Whatever is printed next will end up printed on the same line as whatever is printed here. We'll talk about that more later, though. Don't worry about it too much right now. Just know that this little part at the end here is the reason why in our output, the symbol for yen appears on the same line as the number 5. The other important thing to note here is that when Python runs this code, it doesn't initially run lines 3 and 4 in order as it executes starting at the top. What this function definition does is it loads into the computer's memory the knowledge that there exists a function defined on line 2 named printYen. The body of the function isn't run until it's called from somewhere else in the code. And at that time, execution will jump to line 2 and run the code inside the function. But until the function is called, this code is not run. So we can think of this function definition as loading the knowledge of the function called printYen into the computer's working memory. So if it encounters it later, it knows what to do with that function name.